Welcome to another episode of Simon Says, where facts come first. I'm your host, Jenny Simon. And as usual, same format. We'll have a little bit of update, we'll have the meat of the matter, and then we'll wrap it up. So we take a quick break and come right back. Pull up your chair, and relax. We'll be back.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
Welcome back. In just about 12 days, from May 1st to May the 12th, Grenada witnessed 3 fatal shootings, with others injured and hospitalized, and in some cases, no one hurt, no one injured. There were other shootings throughout the island. I mean, it's as if it's a joke now, it's a comedy show now, with people, neighbors, under their beds when the night comes, people hurrying home early from work. And this is not an exaggeration, because it's throughout the island, and bullets don't have eyes. I saw in a news report one of the a police officer. I don't know what's his rank. He's in the khaki thing with the black thing across his chest. Issa Pay. He must be some acting commissioner or some high position. And I saw him in the news, in a news report. So I'm not sure if there was a police press conference. I haven't heard of one. They're making any statements, but I saw him in the news. I don't know if the news reporter went to him. And he was telling Grenadians not to panic. All the shootings are drug related. And I chuckled, because these people, even if it's drug related, they're not centered in one area and they go there and shoot up each other. There are shootings throughout the island. There are drive-by shootings, people going and party and shoot up. There was a party in Bathway, a Mother's Day event, a brunch party, going to the evening, and there were shootings at the brunch party. People on the table hiding, people texting out messages, calling for help, because there is a shooting going on. And you telling me, don't panic? Bullets don't have eyes. Is that the best thing the RGPF could come and tell us? That it's drug related, don't panic? Oh, come on. We had shooting in Paraclete. We had shooting in a place called Blair's in St. Andrew. We had in Mount Parnassus. I mean, it's everywhere. And so something has to be done. Someone has to do something about what is happening here. The Prime Minister and Minister of National Security left Grenada on the 11th. On the 11th, there were those shootings, the fatal shootings already happened. And he said nothing. The acting Prime Minister, Minister of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation, he is currently acting as Prime Minister. He too said nothing. I mean, I've heard that they're on gag order. I've heard that they cannot speak unless he told them to speak on certain matters, on things like that. And he's not speaking. They're not speaking. Nobody is speaking. And we're here like sitting ducks. So Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is out of state until May 18th, 2024. Foreign Affairs Minister is with him. And of course, the Special Envoy for ICT and the Creatives, Mr. Orlando Romain, is also with him. I mean, it's a tag team. They glued to the hip. Now that the Thomas sisters on glue, we had to figure out the strongest type of glue to glue them back together so they don't unglue again. Take a laugh. Sometimes you have to laugh because we can't continue so. We are going to get aneurysms or have mental health issues because this is serious. We're in a serious crisis in Grenada. Gun crisis, water crisis, full crisis, leadership crisis, government crisis, prime minister crisis. Just call us crisis. Also out of state is the Minister of Health, or so I thought. I understand. According to information, he was supposed to be back on May the 23rd. He left on April the 26th. I understand he's back on island one way. I understand from I was reliably informed that he said he never left, but he's on vacation. Almost a month vacation for a minister who's collecting $20-something thousand off the bat salary and whatever constituency and allowances and stuff. And he decides to take a break, a month break. With the state the Ministry of Health is in. Right now, we have no reagents. I've heard persons complaining about having to walk half an hour to the lab to get it to drop off the blood of their loved ones who are at the general hospital. And that by the time they get there, the blood is contaminated because they're walking in the heat wave we have happening now. And the Minister of Health decides he's taking personal time, be it a month, be it 20 days, whatever it is, he decides he's taking personal time. And so Minister Andy Williams is acting Minister of Health as well. So now Minister Andy Williams is acting Prime Minister, Minister for Infrastructure and Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation, Transportation, ICT, National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management, Minister of Health, Minister of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation. What a joke. I mean, this is play. This have to be play. Real kukute. As I said, we like sitting ducks. This man has all those ministries to run. And whole day, he's posting in social media, him going up to the bushes to take picture next to a little old house and say, I'm coming. And he's coming, right? And going up in the country behind. Well, me know which one, because I think I saw Delma Cledeland, but he went up there with Gloria and wondering what Sister Gloria's layout, her plan will be for the Carlton House. I don't know that that's Sister Gloria's role. However, he went up there to visit the site with her. And the sister Delma Thomas was obviously and was obviously missing. And so now that she's on the inside, she's no longer glued to the hip. I wonder if she'll still get the 2 o'clock calls when she wrap up with her husband. And Sister Glo decides to call her at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. That shit must be stopped. Yeah, so all he's doing, I mean, it's taking our photos, posing, and then they say he's the best minister. He's the best minister. He's doing so much. Am I hallucinating here? Is this whole thing, is it for real? You ever sit down and wonder if this is for real, or we're going to wake up one day and realize, oh, I know that couldn't be for real. Huh? Last episode, I brought to your attention the continued victimization of our public workers. I spoke to you of the officer who was an acting SAO and who was reverted to AO, administrative officer. She was acting senior administrative officer, and was reverted to administration officer by the Public Service Commission with no backup, nothing to say why. She had never received letters from the commission before. She's been working in the service some 34 years, from my calculations, since 1999 or somewhere in the 90s, right? And since 2017, I think she was acting as SAO. So no, she don't understand why she's being treated like that. And we could only say probably she's perceived NNP, because there are calls out there from various persons, even from some media people, asking to get rid of the NNP people in the service, right? So I think the NNP people belong to some island out there, maybe Union, well, not even Union Island too close to us for that, so that they're not Grenadians. And if they're not Grenadians, I agree, they're not supposed to be in the service. So remove all the NNP people from the service, right? It's as if they ain't doing enough, the NTC, and taking over everything and running everything, and going home with the bags of dough, as we would say. It's a hot one today, guys. It's a really hot one today. Yeah. So the individual, as I understand it, because I've been trying to follow, and no, I have not spoken to her. I have not spoken to the individual, and I hope she doesn't get further victimized for this, right? Because I have not spoken to the individual, but the information is coming to me. And as I was told, she's not the only one. There are others who are being victimized to the point of mental health, having mental health issues, and having to try their best to relax, hyperventilating. And so when they get these calls from the Public Service Commission, and they're doing it mostly to women, and the Public Service Commission, from the chairperson and others, are mostly made up of women. There are 4 or 5 women, 2 men. These women, they are victimizing and maltreating our mothers, wives. They have mortgages. They have families to take care of. And they're being ill-treated. So I was told the latest that they have removed her name from the phone, from the phone system. This individual, as I said, served 34 years in the service. Since 1990. She was on vacation, and apparently still is. Nobody could say no to me when I tried to find out where is she. She was supposed to return on the 25th of April. And she has not, and nobody knows where she is. One person told me they believe she's on administrative leave. This is when the public service tell you, don't come to work yet. Stay home. Stay home. Right? So she's on administrative leave. Folks, this is not good. This is not good for our people, for our workers. I mean, this is as bad as the Chinese how the Chinese treating our people in the stadium, in comparison, it's just not Chinese doing it. If you're treating your own people, your workers like that, what is this? What is this? And as I speak about the Chinese, I want to let you know that to date, no one from none of the ministry, either ministries that got letters from the workers, nobody has responded to them as yet, and nobody showed up to offer any kind of assistance, or just simply have a chat with them like I did, sit and have a chat and hear their side, and then go to the Chinese and hear their side, whichever way. But they have no response from the government of Grenada. I want to call shame on the chairwoman and directors of the Public Service Commission on the treatment meted out to some public workers, some public servants, all on perception. Shame on you guys. Shame on you. We take a quick break and come right back.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
Welcome back. So we're going to talk a little bit about SNC, Spicemas Corporation. On April 29, 2024, as I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, the Spicemas Corporation had a media launch hosted by the chairman of the Spicemas board, Mr. Kurt Ross, and the CEO of the Spicemas Corporation, Mrs. Cecil Noel, and some other directors and members of the corporation. At the media launch, Mr. Cecil Noel, the CEO, announced the 2024 calendar. And I play a piece for you, just a relevant piece of that calendar. I'm sure you can go on their site and pull up the calendar and you'd see the rest of the events. Here is what Mr. Noel had to say.
Here is the full calendar of events, and I will just quickly go through it. By the way, this was publicized since 2023, the latter part of the year. So we know people should be fully aware of it. I'll just quickly go through it for those who are hearing me. April 29th, gone. Is it? Today? Spicemas media launch. May 4th, we are having our Spicemas launch right here at the car park. May 11th, Spicemas Diaspora launch in New York.
So on Tuesday, the 14th May, in the morning, I woke up to several persons forwarding me this live. Of course, I see my girl Janice Augustine, Jan, as she's called in social media. The live was done the evening before, the day before, I'm not sure when, but it was forwarded to me. Now, the live was sent to me primarily because I was mentioned in the live. And the live had to do with, though, the New York Spicemas launch, which went the Saturday evening before. So I went on because the truth is, it didn't matter to me what Janice had to say about me. And if that was the reason, and let me make it clear, this is not the reason, I should say, I am here. If it was just about me, I would not be bringing this to you. So I'm going to ignore, really, more or less, what Janice said. But from what I understand and what she said up to where I got to, I mean, I was getting nauseated. I started to sweat because it was long and boring and repetitive. So I kind of came off. And I went as far as when to hear what she had to say. And she said she's going to deal with me another time. So I'm going to get a whole live, I'm guessing. I mean, I get whole programs from some podcasters and talk show hosts. They do whole programs on me. And I'm loving that, really. I'm loving that. So this is not why I'm here at all, because I would not be bringing this to you. I don't care what Janice had to say. Janice needs to get her facts, but we get to that. So so I went on and I listened and I listened and I listened. And the individual is saying that Spicemas, Grenada, and I mean, I have to put Grenada in it because, you know, they say Spicemas launched New York. But Spicemas has nothing to do with the New York Spicemas. But we'll take it bit by bit. So let's hear her as she came on.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to every Grenadian patron who came out to celebrate Spicemas, the launch of Spicemas New York 24. We appreciate you. We love that you love Grenada. We love that you love Grenada music. We love that you big up your artists wherever you are, whoever they are, your choice. Gangson here and his Bad Squad for life. The Karakou Posse came out in their numbers. Karakou people were calling me and buying tickets by 10 and 20, groups of 10 and 20.
Okay. Karakou people buying tickets by the 10s and the 20s, right? Money making. She went on to say she came on the live because of some comments she saw on Facebook. So she pulled over and she decided to do this live. Big mistake. She opened a can of worms. Pandora box. Boom. She had to come and defend the New York Spicemas launch, or should I say, the so-called New York Spicemas launch, because if you listen to her, it wasn't a Spicemas launch. But the individual Jan said over and over in her life that the Spicemas Corporation has nothing to do with the, concert they had in New York on Saturday the 11th, 2024, because I am removing Spicemas from that for myself. I ain't waiting for the Spicemas Corporation to say we're not aligned, right? So the concert was held on Saturday the 11th May 2024. Here is Miss Augustine, Miss Janice Augustine, Jan giving a full accolades. As she continued on her live, given her reasons for the live.
I was willing to let it slide. But then I see people start talking on social media about Spicemas wasting money with the New York launch. And the people who were booked for Grenada Carnival already know that they're going to Grenada Carnival, so they don't understand why New York needs a launch. The money could be spent elsewhere.
Okay, so you had Miss Augustine there. She couldn't let it pass. She had to come on and defend her turf. Now let's hear what the CEO of Spicemas, SMC, had to say when he was questioned at the media launch about the New York launch.
What can we expect for the public launch on Saturday and the New York launch the following weekend?
A lot of a lot of fun, a lot of culture being explored. So for the launch on Saturday, it's basically a taste. You'll get a taste of what you expect when we get into Spicemas. And when I say into Spicemas, the major events. So we're going to have a presentation, or I should say, the queens. For the first time, we'll kind of introduce them to the public outside of the mask regalia we had on Friday. We'll have the reigning panorama champion on display. We expect to have additional steel band music. We are working towards a mini parade to come into the stadium. We're also going to have what I truly refer to as an explosive way of introducing the traditional mass. For the first time, we're going to kind of do a semi-dramatized, creative way of introducing them. So I hope people come out. I don't want to say much about it, but you expected to be here to see how that is revealed. Yeah, so you wouldn't have the regular way that an MC just say the vehicle is coming on stage. No. It's going to be rather creative and dramatized. Of course, we have Calypso and Soca winners from last year. They're all going to be participating and performing. And for most part, it's expected to be a thrilling and really vibrant event. We want to keep it tight. We want to keep it as a well-produced event because that too is going to be streamed live. The New York launch is going to be very similar to what I just outlined in terms of some of the traditional mass and some of the top artists who will be going up there and some who are up there performing at the launch. The main idea behind the diaspora launch, as I prefer to refer to it, is again to encourage people outside there to be able to come in for Spicemas 2024. So the launch is not just a launch for launching's sake. It's really a selling and a promotional event, to let people see what we're doing, know what we're going to be doing, and so have them book early enough to be here for Spicemas 2024.
So you heard his explanation. You heard what he had to say about Spicemas launch in New York, and it is the same format would be used as the Grenada launch, and it's for people to see give them the package of what we have to offer here so that they can book to come. And so if you listen to Mr. Noel, Spicemas Grenada is involved in Spicemas launch New York. He was then asked about the venue because, it's those of you who was following last year, the venue was too small. People was lined up around the block and they couldn't get in because the venue couldn't hold many of them. So they had to turn back and go home. Even performers got stuck outside because this is New York. It's not Grenada. This is America. And so if they said a venue could hold 300, when they get 300, they cut off and no one else would get squeezed. You can't say, oh God, come in a minute. That don't happen. So they had to get a new venue. So they were asked. He was asked about the venue. This is what he had to say.
Last year, the venue was too small, according to comments. So you selected a bigger venue this year?
That's correct. It is a bigger venue.
That's correct. It is a bigger venue. Let's continue with Ms. Augustine.
Come and jump in the freeness. All you have the most to say, all you have the most suggestions. So come in, volunteer. I want all you to be in meetings. I want all you to be going by people and collecting little change that they give. We want all you to come and make phone calls to beg for a ticket for the artists to come up. We want all you to come and help write letters because we send some of these artists for their visas. We want all you to come and help because there's a help thing that going on here. But when all you see crowd and all you see people, All you just feel the most money making. And and we all you do not appreciate the effort that goes on for the last probably 25 or 30 years. For probably the last 25 or 30 years, people have been making efforts to launch Carnival in Grenada, in New York.
Now, I have a question for Janice before I move on. Who is the we that's sending people for visa? Because I know Janice can't send nobody for visa in the embassy. Who's the we? Is it a government institution letterhead that was used? Was it the consulate in New York? Or was it the Ministry of Culture? Did it go up in the pouch to the embassy from Grenada? Who's the we she's speaking about? Okay. Come and join. Come and jump in the freeness. Let's move on.
You see, they come, the volunteers, the people that work behind the scenes, the people that make it happen, the people. Some things they volunteer. Some people get paid for certain things, but all of the money is raised here in Brooklyn. We beg, we scrunt, we make it happen. We even have, last year, we had about probably 5 or 6 members of Spicemas Grenada coming up. And Spicemas Grenada did not buy tickets for them to come up. New York launch. We in the engine room, which is Miss Frances Purcell house, day, night, morning, noon. We find a guy that from Munich. What's his name? Kin Kelis. Kin has been a savior to us, volunteering, helping to do everything that needed to be done.
I hope you're all listening carefully. Pay attention, because coming to the end, you'll hear different stories. Pay attention. They paid for the SMC members from Grenada to go up to New York for the launch. Last year, 2023, and this year, 2024. Okay? Let's continue.
So, I understand there are some people who are not happy with the way the show went. There are some people who are not happy with the committee that is putting on the show, and in their mind they can do a better job. There are some people who thinks that Spicemas is wasting the money invested in the New York launch. Mind you, there is $0 invested from Grenada, from the government or from Spicemas Grenada. There is $0 invested. Is them funeral home and them up here, we just beg. And is Labbe Market, we just beg. And is the Grenada Board of Tourism, we just beg. And good friends and lovers of the culture, we begging for a ticket to bring up we artists and them. And we raising funds to book their and some, you know what? Maybe they don't know. That is why some of them behave the way they do. Rockin' J Rockin' J was jumping around on a broken toe for the last probably 5 days. Volunteering his vehicle, his time, his expertise, dropping off tickets, making sure that this show became a reality. I was falling asleep at every traffic light that I meet because we tired. So there is room. All you come in is volunteer. Send for them and tell them come. Send for them and tell them come. All right? Because this here is a volunteer effort to make sure that Spicemas is launched in New York, and we are able to give the patrons who are not able to go home a treat. That's what this is about.
Okay. It's about giving the people who are unable to go home a treat. Remember, she said that. Now, I don't doubt for 1 minute that there are those, the Rockin' J, the John, the Fran. I don't doubt for a minute that they have gone all out to make sure that that show happened. I don't know that. Why wouldn't they? Now, if you listen to Janice, that's a private production. They do all the begging, they beg. Spicemas had, and the government of Grenada, she said, had $0 invested. However, she said they got donations from the Board of Tourism, which is a government entity. However, anyways, but they begged for it from, I guess, for themselves. So they thought, so she's proud of that, right? Zero, you know. Let's move on.
Come and do something for the country. Yeah? When we decided to do this, it was a few people who came together and said, we need to organize a launch of Grenada's Carnival, because Spicemas is a big deal. Spicemas is a very big deal. And we reach out and we keep talking, and other people keep saying, okay, I want to join the group, and we keep inviting people. Come on in. Even the Independence Committee, it's all volunteer. What we do because we love 133 square miles. The Grenadian community in Brooklyn is well connected. The Grenadian community in Brooklyn is well connected. If you want to join the team, come on in and join the team. There's work. There's more work than we can do. There's more work than we can do. But it's all part of spreading the message. And some of the things I saw on social media floored me. Because I know Frances Purcell took her credit card, her personal credit card, and made a down payment for the venue. And for most of the things that you see happening around here, we have a person out here who's willing to take her personal credit card and put large sums of money on it to ensure. And that is why over the years, there was never a New York Carnival launch until last year. Because nobody was willing. Everybody sit down waiting on the money to come up from Grenada. Well, let me tell all you. No money ain't coming up from Grenada. No money never came up from Grenada. And no money will come up from Grenada.
So, we have a private individual to a point, because this individual, Ms. Frances Purcell, is the deputy chair of the board of the Spicemas Corporation. I'm talking New York, you know. I'm talking here in Grenada. She is the deputy chair of the Spicemas Corporation in Grenada. In other words, she has first-hand information. She's at meetings, whether virtual or in person, because she travels back and forth, blocking space. She has first-hand information as to what's going on inside Spicemas Corporation. So if Spicemas sending money to New York, she know. If Spicemas ain't sending money to New York, she know. Jan is a member of the committee. Jan don't know what she talking about there. She have no clue what she's saying. But Jan is speaking in the third person. Jan saying what she was told. Okay? Well, I hope so. And I'm hoping so for her sake. So in essence, if we believe what Jan is saying about the event, it was not and should not be branded New York Spicemas launch. If a private individual is spending all the monies, except for what they got donated or whatever they got donated, but is spending the hard cash, like paying down for the venue and all the stuff. She said she refused to even say the amount. First, it's huge, you could tell, right? Then that is a private event. Okay? That is a private event. Because if anything, God forbid, go wrong, it's all in Miss Purse's lap. She have to do whatever it takes, not Spicemas. So it bothers me that Spicemas Corporation is allowing that group in New York to use their brand to make money. Miss Porcelain just giving her credit card and saying, for country. We who know Miss Porcelain, we all know that ain't gonna happen. So she has to get reimbursed. That was never mentioned, eh? That was never mentioned about reimbursement. This is me assuming here, okay? So where does the monies collected go? How it happens? How it happens? But let's hear Janice again as she continues.
This person who coordinates people and coordinates events up here called Frances Purcell. And she go vex because I call she name, but she go live. When the idea came up, she called a few people she know that she can depend on, and she said, let's do this. We stepped up to the plate, and we decided we are going to do this. The invitation is always open for everybody and anybody who wants to be a part of the event. Whether it's independence, whether it's, and you know the thing about it?
Let's continue. Let's do this. Let's do this. And Peppers was born. Let's continue.
So let me tell all you about Frances Purcell. Because all you clearly don't know Frances Purcell. And I see Jenny make a derogatory statement about a business Frances just opened in New York. And I will get to deal with Jenny. I ain't touching on Jenny today. But we go learn, we go get to her. So anyway, whatever the event is, all you have to do is say, Auntie Fran, or Moms, that's how everybody else does call her. This is happening, we want to do this. And a lot of times she's the one coming up with the idea. And she volunteers her house, she opens her house from the basement so them children could do their rehearsals for Maypole and Brendan, what was the dance all you were dancing again for Carnival? What's it called again? It's a Caribou dance. I forget. Well, you don't even remember. But it's a Caribou dance that the children were learning to dance. And the children were learning to dance because when it's cold, that time of the year, February, Independence, is cold. So guess who has a huge basement that allows the children inside their house? Who all you know opening up their house for parents and children to learn to dance in the basement, and the parents sitting upstairs cooking and somebody making sandwich and everybody feeding them children, and she's still ordering pizza for them children, pizza and whatever. We don't have a lot of people so, you know. We don't have a lot of people so. So careful what all you say. Careful what all you say when all you're talking about that woman. Because she do simple. She go hard for Grenada.
You said a couple of correct things there. She do simple. She do simple. That is one thing you said correct. But as for going hard and having children in the basement, to each their own. Yo, think that it's just so. That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Right? All the jealous, I got special mention. The same person, that same person, opened up their doors to NMP as well before NDC came into office, up to 2018 election. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go on.
Let me tell all you something. When that venue was booked, it was Miss Postal credit card. I was there. I saw it. She pulled out her credit card and booked the venue. Right? Same thing with the venue on Nostrand. When the venue on Nostrand that we used last year was booked, she pulled out her credit card and paid for it. And everything that needed to be paid for that we did not get a sponsor for is border tourism. We just call and beg for 2 tickets. For Boise and them and whoever else we bring in. Yeah? So when all you're ready to talk and try to paint a derogatory picture at people and things that are happening, first get the facts. Spicemas has not, have not, and probably will not ever invest in the launch of Carnival in New York. This is a voluntary effort. If you're such a professional at making things happen, come and join the group. Because I vex with Spicemas, you know, because I'm saying we inviting 4 and 5 and 6 members of Spicemas committee up here. We buying ticket for them. They're coming up, they're having a great time, they're enjoying the show. They're representing Spicemas, make sure everything go well because it's under their banner. It's their event. And the money that we raise, Spicemas gets that money. The money that we raise, Spicemas gets that money. So how is Spicemas not defending the New York group that's supporting them? I don't know. But I just needed to present a few facts this evening. And one of those very important facts is that Spicemas does not invest in the New York launch.
Now, if they do not invest, and she said it so many times in so many different ways, and she don't expect them to, they never did, they never will. How is it she just said that is their event and it's under their banner? How it's not adding up. It's not adding up. No. The show is in fact under Spiceman's banner. As Janet said, they have nothing to do with it. Now we are asking here, and you heard her, they give monies to Spicemas. They gave in 2023, and I guess they have, I know they give it yet, but they have monies to present this year. We are asking for a breakdown, for proper transparency and accountability. Again, if it's under Spicemas, it's national, it's public, we're supposed to know. If it's a private event, then we should ask no questions. You spend your money, you make your money, you keep your money, you take what is yours. If you want to make a donation to Spicemas, you make a donation to Spicemas. Again, the reiteration and the stressing of the point, Ms. Purcell using her own credit card towards bills in the New York Spicemas launch. Ms. Purcell is the deputy chair on the committee, and Ms. Purcell could say to the Spicemas board, listen, we need monies for so and so to help promote the Spicemas, to help promote Spicemas in New York. Okay? Let's continue.
To the people out there who are wondering how much Spicemas invested in the New York launch and thinks it's a waste of money, unfortunately, they did not invest anything in Spicemas launch New York. Miss Purcell credit card fronted everything, and we volunteered the rest. Sweat equity is what we put in.
Okay? So I just had to play it again. The same thing. Okay? Spicemas gave nothing, and Ms. Purcell's using her own money for the concert. Simon Says has been reliably informed that the Spicemas Corporation, SMC, is very much involved financially with the launch of the New York Spicemas. Or it won't be called Spicemas launch. I've been saying so, common sense. So Janice, I suggest you get your facts. The Spicemas, the SMC, financially involvement is to ensure that the launch is successful, and therefore the venue was paid for by Spicemas Corporation, Grenada. Information reaching me. I was also reliably informed that the travel ticket for the Spicemas directors who attended this year's launch, I'm not sure, I didn't have them get to investigate about last year, was paid for by the Spicemas Corporation, Grenada, and not the New York Committee, as said or suggested by Janice Augustine, Jan, in her life. I was also reliably informed that there was a budget that Spicemas New York launch is budgeted for. So, if Ms. Purcell, who is the deputy chair of Spicemas, the board of the Spicemas Corporation in Grenada, is a part of the board in meetings, she would know about the financial assistance coming from the corporation in Grenada. And the corporation would only know about the venue, the new venue, if they're being told by someone, I don't know who. Someone had to mention about the venue and the cost of the venue. I don't know. I know it's not Jan because she knew that nothing came from them and that Ms. Purcell pulled out her credit card and made the down payment for the venue. Somebody had to give the corporation an invoice, tell them about the venue, how much it costs and all of that. So she have you believing that all these monies she's spending and nothing is coming from Spicemas Corporation. That's a question, eh? That's a question, right? The chairman of the SMC board, along with the financial director, as I understand it, was at this year's New York launch. Something they have nothing to do with it. The junior minister responsible for culture, Senator Quince Britton, was also there and gave brief remarks. The launch took the same format as the Grenada launch, as was pronounced and in the media launch by the CEO of the SMC, Mr. Cecil Noel. In essence, it was Spicemas Corporation event. I have questions. In the event that what Janice Augustine said is true, I have some questions for her. One, if that event is a private event owned by Auntie Fran, because she's spending the money. You guys are volunteering, you said it, and she is the one spending the money. You use a house, you use a basement, you use a backyard. She's putting her credit card down to spend the thousands of US dollars, right? Why is the Spicemas brand being used to promote the show? Why is the event called the New York Spicemas launch? Janice. 2, why is the deputy chair of the Spicemas Corporation personally funding the New York Spicemas launch? 3, is the event a Spicemas event or a Francis Purcell event? Well, and her committee, but you say you're working for free. Questions to the SMC. If the event is a Spicemas event funded by the Spicemas Corporation under the Spicemas umbrella, with the deputy chair, Ms. Frances Purcell, chairing the New York Spicemas Committee, how is it the committee is not aware of the Spicemas Corporation involvement and input in the New York event? That this lady, Miss Janice Augustine Janjan, could have a whole life, and the entire life, she's saying that Spicemas Corporation Grenada is not involved and has put $0. How is it? Is it obvious by the ranting of Janice Augustine Janjan on her life that the committee, the volunteer committee, was not made aware of Spicemas Grenada financial backing of the New York Spicemas event? Now, if not, why not? When the chair of the New York committee, the deputy chair of the Grenada committee, the same individual, this is the New York chair, I should say, is the deputy chair of the Spicemas Corporation. That same individual. Is Spicemas Grenada aware of the amount of monies collected at the New York launch? Or if you get a little 2,000, you just take it and you say thank you. That's what someone for Janice. There's give a little something. How much money was received from Ms. Frances Purcell and her committee as a token from 2023 and 2024? The people is calling on the Spicemas Corporation to make a statement, letting the people know the true situation in light of that live that Ms. Janice Augustine Jan made. We need a few issues clearer. So we need you to speak to us. It appears that the New York committee believes that Ms. Frances Purcell is funding the entire event, and as such, Ms. Purcell needs to be reimbursed. And that's only fair. That's only fair. It's not $2 we're talking about. Question: if monies was sent up to New York from Grenada, in whose name was that done? According to Janice Augustine, the thing is theirs. Spicemas Grenada has no input or involvement in the event. What say you, Mr. Kurt Ross, Chairman of the SMC, and Mr. Cecil Noel, CEO of the Spicemas Corporation? If it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. Now to Janice. This is personally, I'm directed this directly at you. Yes, Auntie Fran opened up a restaurant in New York. I also know whose name it is in. The caption of the video that she posted, the video I reposted, it came from Auntie Fran. There was a caption. This is, and it reads, "This is what has been keeping me super busy. Adrian and I, we open tomorrow." I understand Adrian is her son. The name of the restaurant is Peppers in Park Slope, downtown Brooklyn. Question, Janice: if monies was sent up from Grenada to pay for the venue, and Auntie Fran, as you said, you were there, made a down payment. She didn't pay everything. You said she made a down payment. You were there with her credit card. What do you think happened to the monies that came from Grenada? Question: so that Auntie Fran get reimbursed for the ticket money, from the ticket monies, for all the different charges she made on her credit card before Spicemas Grenada got their share. Get your facts, Janice. I suggest you have a sit down with Auntie Fran until such time, my friend, bat in your crease. We take a quick break and come right back.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
Welcome back. In 2013, the allocation for the Office of the Creative Affairs was $3,472,968. If you look on the screen, you'll see, look where the yellow highlight is, and you would see this is from the hard copy of the budget presentation. Let's hear Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell in 2023 as he was the Minister of Finance.
We did earlier. We will grant 100% concessions on both CET and VAT for selected production equipment to support the creative economy for 12 months, to be reviewed starting February 1, 2023. These items include storage media, production equipment for content creators, audiovisual equipment, art supplies, all other ICT equipment and devices that are unequivocally needed for business use in the creative economy. The total estimated revenue foregone for the two above measures, Mr. Speaker, is approximately $2.5 million.
Now, Mr. Orlando Romain is the person in charge of the Creative Affairs Desk under the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture. In May of 2023, I believe it was the 10th I stand corrected. The Creative Affairs launched Unleash, the inaugural Culture and Creative Industries Conference. We were promised a postmortem of Unleash. We never heard anything of the outcome of the conference, no follow-up on the recommendations of the invited guests and the facilitators. But what we're hearing from the now Minister of Finance in his 2024 budget presentation is that Unleash was a success. Now, I remember when I did the episode on, and I spoke of Unleash, I said, looking in from the outside, it looked like it was a successful event. But you cannot call that event successful by just looking in from the outside. And so we were awaiting to hear from the Creative Affairs desk what happened. I also said that I hope that all these conferences and all these sit-downs wasn't just going to be put on paper and chucked in a corner somewhere, and that it would materialize, it would be implemented. Joke Jody, according to the people. If it is that Unleash was successful, we would like to know in what way. We have no idea. And a further $4,908,649 was allocated to the Creative Affairs desk in 2024. Here's from Minister Cornwall.
Advancing the development of the creative economy. Establishment of the Creative Industries Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, we have made significant strides in developing the creative industries as a new and exciting pillar of economic growth and job creation. The Cultural and Creative Industries Symposium hosted earlier this year, which brought creative together to showcase the talent, was a major success. The establishment of the Office of Creative Affairs and the introduction of a tax relief package to incentivize entrepreneurship and growth in this sector were also important achievements. One of the many initiatives in 2024 is the full rollout of the Creative Industries Development Fund, which was launched last Friday with an initial capitalization of $2 million. The fund will provide soft loans, grants, and vouchers to creatives. Digital transformation.
If you look on the screen, follow the yellow highlights, you would see that amount that I just said allocated to the Creative Affairs desk. Now, Orlando Romaine is the PRO of the National Democratic Congress. If you're not told, you'll never know. Not one word from this individual on party affairs. Defending the party, speaking about what's going on in the party, nothing. This is a zero, Janja. Zero. His position on the national executive is for voting rights. He became PRO in 2022. This is the second term as PRO, when Deacon Mitchell became political leader of the NDC. Did not perform, but was returned to the position in 2023. He's our ambassador to the diaspora, that we, the people, are paying for is the PRO of the party. Well, he's the deputy PRO of the party, but functioning as the PRO at best. Not much, but if anything has to be said, you hear it from our ambassador. Our ambassador, yes. Orlando Romaine is also special envoy, aka ambassador to the creative economy and ICT, a position introduced just for him. However, it's closely related to his personal business, his private business. He is an advisor to the government of Grenada. He is director on the NTRC board, the Grenada Board of Tourism, and a member of the Innovative Agriculture Policy Committee. There could be others, we never know, because not all of our boards are gazetted as yet. So we don't know. There are names we don't know. There are people on boards we don't know who they are. So only when it's gazetted we can say, well, this person is on this board. He's a member of the alleged second cabinet, together with Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, Andrea St. Bernard, and Auntie Fran Fran. His private business, Hexide, is directly related to the creatives, a glaring conflict of interest. Simon Says has questioned for the Minister of Finance and by extension the government of Grenada. How many persons are employed by the Creative Affairs Division? What are their salaries? Did Mr. Orlando Romain receive concession, 100% concession, on equipment for his private business, Hexide? What was the total amount given? Now, questions to whom it may concern. Is it true Mr. Orlando Romain purchased the property Tufton Hall in St. Mark recently? Is it true Mr. Orlando Romain is further looking for residential property to purchase? Moving along. For some time now, there is that concern of some, that includes mostly persons who are not members of the NNP party, asking for their convention. Okay, they're going into 3 years. Yeah, they need to have a convention. I do believe they should sooner than later, so that the party can, set themselves in motion. Whoever the leader is, you have new potential candidates, and let's go. But it's not my business. I'm not an NNP. I'm not involved, and it's not my business when they hold a convention, because that is party business. They have an executive, and the executive is who have to take to task or announce when is their convention. Recently, we've seen I heard members of the NNP, senior members, some active, others not, speaking out in public on NNP matters. Some are out there demonizing the political leader and speaking out on internal party matters publicly. Now, for those of you following the politics, you might have heard that Dr. Bert Prophet, who was a senior member, or who is a senior member of the party, was uninvited. I don't know if that's a word. He was invited. He himself said so. He's not an executive member, but he was invited to meetings. He would be invited to meetings. Well, they pulled that privilege, right? That is after he went on in a media platform and spoke about the party. Some say they ain't see nothing. He said there, it is a political party we're speaking about. He attends the executive meetings. And if he could get up and go on a platform and speak about the party, be it little or nothing, he could do it again. He should be barred from the executive. He's not even an executive member. Yes, he should be. Let's step back a bit. Dr. Braffett was a guest on a local talk show where he made it clear that he's not an executive member of the party, but attends meeting on invitation. Let's hear what Dr. Burt had to say.
How do you feel about the current situation? How do you feel about the current situation with a delayed convention and so?
Well, perhaps before I comment on that, I should say that anything I mentioned to you here or discussed with you represents just my personal view. I'm not speaking on behalf of the party because I'm not a formal member of the executive. I've been often invited to sit with the executive members, but I'm not a formal member, so I'm speaking just on behalf of myself.
Okay, so according to news items in the news, the evening news, weekly, at an LNP executive meeting, there was a vote to stop Dr. Bradford from attending meetings. So, as I say, uninvite him to the meetings as he was before. There was a vote. It was, as reported, near unanimous vote. He was banned from attending executive meetings in the future, according to posts that I saw, statements made, media ones as well. Only 2 persons voted for him to remain. One was Peter David, and I think it was Stan Phillip. 2. The rest wanted him out of the not attend the executive meetings. It is their prerogative. And they had a vote. That's what you call democracy. There was a vote. Now, an executive vote was made. And as I understand it, the leader of the party and the chairman, I understood, did not vote. But the leader is getting blamed for the vote against Dr. Bradford. He did not vote. Okay? He did not vote. Now, a political party, my friends, is not a church group. This is serious business, and I always said so. I don't understand why some people think that everybody must be all up in there in a political party business. They're outside. There's an executive. Sometimes they have management committees. NDC had management committee. It is not everybody's business. It cannot be. And I say it's not a church group, but I have to, let me take that back, because not even church groups these days. If some of you have been following the saga out there with the Catholic Church, the bishop and the Father Paul, Gerard Paul, he was suspended. So not even church groups taking chances with that. You know, I stayed away from this thing with Father Paul and the bishop and the thing, and I stayed away from it. But I'm sure we could pull up a clip of the bishop, because he said that when everybody was ranting and raving, oh, they fire, they suspend Father Paul for speaking about Gaza. The bishop said that Father Paul was not suspended because of what he said about Gaza. But I guess that just, ended it all. But let's hear what the bishop had to say about the reason why he was suspended.
Brothers and sisters, there have been numerous comments on the statement made by myself at River Sally on the social media platforms. Many comments seem to have misinterpreted what I have said. I wish to state the following. Father Gerard Paul has not been suspended because of what he has said about Gaza. His sentiments have been echoed by many in and out of the Catholic Church. The Church is very concerned and will continue to speak out about the unjust situations in the world, including Gaza, Ukraine, Haiti, and Sudan, while being active in caring for persons in the midst of these situations. Father Gerard Paul has been suspended because of his continuing lack of respect for the church of which he is a priest, and his pronouncements that often stray from the truth. When challenged about that, he does not correct his errors, nor seem to care about such corrections. Many of the responses in the media focus on Gaza and have not been able to note the other issues involved. Over the past 10 days, Father Paul has expressed his views in ways that seem to mock authority. Respect for authority is one of the pillars of civilized society. When such respect is undermined without being addressed, the end result could only be a total breakdown of society. This applies to all sectors. The suspension of a priest from ministry is not to be confused with dismissal from the priesthood. Suspension, however long it may be, is always with a view to fraternal correction. It is our hope that Father Paul will listen to that call. Our diocese considers him a brother priest, and we are willing to assist him in seeking the necessary help that he needs. We continue to pray that the risen Lord will guide us in the days ahead. Alleluia, alleluia.
Hallelujah. Respect for authority. Though a party, the executive of any party, is where the party's strategies and are being put together, and it's where decisions, confidential decisions are being made. Political parties are not play. I said it. It is not play. It's not dollhouse. Persons in the executive of a political party are supposed to be loyal, militant, and vigilant. Well, confidentiality is a given. One can't just accept an invitation from, or shouldn't just accept an invitation from a media house, show up, say what you want to say, come down, and then show up to the people's executive meeting when you're not even an executive member. As you said, so they stop you. They stop you. And it is not our business. It is not our business. Lest we forget, in 2012, the NDC party expelled 13 members. 13, 1-3, and not suspend, not barred, expelled, thrown out, put out for good. You can't come back. Right? 13 members of the organization. A big portion of that was executive members. There are a few other regular ones, they're friends, right? Executive members. The GenSec, the treasurer, the PRO, the chairman, the deputy chairman, a couple MPs were among those as well. They were expelled from the party. Now, that was because they were disrespecting the leader then, the then leader, Honorable Tillman Thomas, calling him peasant boy and all these things. They publicly, in public, destabilized the party, causing division. And members of the party, senior members, causing division. But Prophet reminds me of the late Dennis Lett, may he rest in peace. You know, when you see all the people like that getting on a bandwagon, why? Huh? And you say, oh, we've been friends for 65 years. So what is your problem, really? What's causing that? There's only one thing that's caused these kind of things, you know. Do. Kenny Lal Singh, in 2013, when you got another chance to redeem yourself, both politically and in business, how did you not see the real Dr. Mitchell there? How did you not? Anthony Boson, at least you forget GIDC and who covered you. You see, I have a problem with disloyalty, a big one, a huge one. I do have a problem with that. And it doesn't mean that you have to cover up for anybody. But when we're speaking about a political party, there are boundaries. There should be boundaries. I resigned from NDC in 2018, immediately after the election. And there are still some NDC people who don't have social media, who don't know, who don't listen to the news, who have cable, who do not know that I am no longer an NDC member because I resigned my card bearing membership. When they meet me, they say, what's going on? I ain't seen you. How you find me going? They don't know. Because I did not get up in the media. I could have called a press conference, you know. I'd give my reasons for leaving and say certain things about NDC and some of the person who purported to be and still are purporting to be people person and patriot. People who refuse to sign off and being candidate because they didn't get every last cent that they asked for in order to be a candidate. When they were told, okay, we'll give you this lump sum and we have a little 15,000 left for you. If you go ahead and we go. No, they refuse. They refuse to sign the NDC registration form to become a member of the NDC until they get every cent. And is that a true member? So leave the people alone. Let them do their do. You just do your own. Leave them alone. I didn't go on and say things, you know, I could say a lot, but I won't. Because that was internal matters. I was a member of the executive, the NEC, and I was a member of the management committee. Because I was the leader of the women's arm, I ended up being on the management representing the women. But there's management and management. Sometimes an executive decision is an inside decision. All on the outside should mind their own business. We have a whole cabinet without tongue. This is what we have to talk about because this is our business. The cabinet of Grenada, the government of Grenada is our business, all of us. And we have a whole cabinet without tongue. We have no idea what's going on in the cabinet of Grenada and by extension, the ministries. We've been told we'll know on a need-to-know basis. Apparently, we don't need to know because we never know. They never tell us. The word undemocratic is used in reference to LNP and their convention. I don't know what the executive came up with. Yes, if you say you shall hold a convention, there are reasons you can put forward to your general counsel or your executive why you shouldn't, why you can't. It happened with NDC. It happened when I was there. It happened after I left. That you move back conventions. There are ways it could be done. Eh? What we should be worried about is when I'm getting calls from women of the NDC who attended an AGM a couple of Saturdays ago to vote in a new president. And the results were changed when the diaspora was allowed to vote virtually. So the locals voted, the ones that I was allowed to vote, because I was told, the GenSec told them that there are locals who would be able to vote virtually as well. There are people who, it's Saturday afternoon, and some people had to go to work. Some came and left because they started late. And they were told, we're going to send you a link so you can vote. And that did not happen. They would, at the end, they say, oh, they can't. But the diaspora was allowed to vote virtually. And after the Grenadians voted in a president, the diaspora voted and changed that result. And so now the person who is the president of the Women's Act is not who the women of Grenada preferred to be their president. That is what you'll have to worry about when it comes to democracy. And I don't know, it's another, the diaspora is a constituency. Okay, so if they're allowing them to vote now, it never happened in my time. But if they're allowing them to vote now, why are you not allowing Grenadians who can't make the meeting, who had to leave because they have to go to work for 3 o'clock? Why couldn't they vote as well? Some came, as I understand, breathless, left their work, run away, run up GBSS hill, steep hill, to get to vote, and they were turned down. That is what we have to talk about. And so, NDC supporters, prepare for the convention and prepare for the diaspora making a difference in the votes. Open your eyes. But I say, way to go, nation builders, way to go. I am here with you all. 63, 55 people voted for Miss Vashti and 46 for Miss Hillary, who was the former president. That's locally. And after the vote of the diaspora, 63 voted for Miss Hillary and 61 for Miss Vashti. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Keep your eyes on the ball, or else what happened? It will knock you down. If you look on the screen, you see a flyer put out by Sesame Street. The flyer starring Kermit the Frog, and it's an NDC focus and delivering and putting people first. April 2024 highlights. 19 new registered nurses. Good, very good. Largest participation in character games. NDC participated in character games. They get the most medals or something. I went all 3 days. Largest participation in character games. Restoration of Victoria Park. Assistance to fire victims in Chantimel. We had fire in Jangley, St. Mark, Pedmota, Granans. I mean, you just name it. There have just been so many fires, which, it's something that's very heartbreaking when you lost all that you have and you have to start over. The people for Jangley is still out there with a paper begging for help. The 2 children all in Grenville, somebody told me they saw one of them the other day begging for help. Something special about Chantimel, and that made the achievement list. Lowest backlog of cases in the High Court in 12 years. PM and delegations visit Cuba. Several MOUs were signed. That's all we heard, beginning and end. All we heard about is the bust of Maurice Bishop. That's going to be in the Heroes Park come October 19th. And Grenada signed and been signing MOUs with Cuba for what? 40 years? What's the big deal? We know what that is. Sustainable Tourism Conference. Hosted, planned, put together by the Bajan that we, the NDC, did not want in Grenada, who's doing a marvelous job, if I must say so myself, with the tourism product in Grenada. Folks, that's a wrap on today's episode of Simon Says. As usual, it was great conversing with you. Thank you for joining Simon Says, where facts come first. Lest we forget, keeping them honest. See you next week, same time, same place, as we come with another episode of Simon Says. Bye now.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.